Okay, so now we're going to check the temperature of our milk. So we're at about 100 degrees is where we're at on there. Okay, so our milk is slightly warm. Okay, so if you take a look at your instructions, it tells you to lightly beat the egg yolks and just mix in, gradually stir into the dry mix ingredients, melt the butter and the milk. Okay, so let me go ahead and toss in the butter. So we went ahead and sifted this bad boy in there. So we should be in good shape with that. Okay, so as you can see, the butter is starting to melt a little bit. So I'm going to grab my other whisk. I'm going to get out a quick little whisk. And so I just had it on low. So now what you could do if you were at home, then you can go ahead and kind of pop the butter in the microwave just until it melts. Or you can go ahead and you can take the milk, pop that in the microwave also, just until it melts. Just until it gets a little bit warm. Yeah, you're looking at about 100 degrees or so. Okay, so as I'm going, I'm making sure that I'm wiping down and cleaning as I go. And so while that's going, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start to introduce my egg mixture to my flour mixture. Okay, and we're getting that a nice little mix. And then we want to make sure that we use our spatula, because that's egg that's still left there, and then that might cause you a problem later on. Okay, so we got this going. So now we scrape that out really good. So as you can see, I have nothing left in there. I'm gonna go ahead and set this down, put this over to the side, get it a little bit more stir. Okay. And giving this just a little bit. So making sure that our mixture is warm, but not hot, super hot. Just enough to melt the butter. Whisking that around a little bit. Go ahead and turn off our burner. Wipe the burner down, keeping it clean. Set this over to the side. Now I'm going to come back. I'm going to slowly start to add in my milk and butter mixture. So I add a little bit. Make sure that I get that nice and smooth. So it's looking a little clumpy. So as you can see, it's looking a little clumpy there at first. Okay, whisking that in. Starting to smooth out a little bit. Come back. Add in a little bit more. Like so. Giving a little whisk. And let me show you guys another little thing that you guys can do. So just in case you guys don't remember from your basic skills class, when you can take your towel, make sure it's nice and wet, and then what you're going to do is kind of roll it up like a handkerchief, like so. And then we're going to make a little spot for our bowl to sit. So if your bowl is sliding around too much, like mine was a few minutes ago, then you can do that, and now you have a holding spot for what you have going on. So now I add the rest of my milk. I want to get those milk solids there in the bottom because that's a lot of flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and add this. Again, I use my high heat spatula to make sure that I get all of the ingredients out of there. Okay, put those to the side. And so now I'm going to give it a nice whisk. Just like so. And so then it should look nice and smooth for you. Okay? So we got that. And so I used a really big bowl, but we're going to go ahead and reserve this for a little bit so it cools down, and then everything starts to solidify a little bit more. So I'm going to put it into my smaller bowl that I had, because I only wanted the big bowl just for mixing. So now I'm going to put it into a smaller bowl. And so then again, I come back with my spatula. I go ahead and I make sure I get all of the ingredients out of there. Just like so. Take this and slide it over to the side, out of our way. And so now what we want to do is we want the warm batter to cool a little bit. Stirring constantly, let the batter rest at room temperature for about an hour. So now we have our batter that we're going to use, our crepe batter. Okay. So again, I'm going to come back, wipe down my area, clean off the edge of my bowl. And then I'm going to reserve this, let it sit for about an hour or so while we're getting some other things ready. Okay. So now I have that, have this. Okay. Flip this over. Clean off the knife. Wipe that down. Okay. So now from there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make the spinach crepe batter. So again, as you take a look at it, you have the spinach crepe batter. It has 2 cups of lightly packed fresh spinach, well rinsed and de-stemmed, 2 cups of milk, 1.5 cups of sifted all-purpose flour, 3 large eggs, a pinch of salt. It has freshly ground white pepper, freshly ground nutmeg, and then we have melted butter, 2 ounces that has been melted and cooled. Okay? And then it tells you to place the spinach in a saucepan, cook over a medium heat until completely wilted. Drain the spinach and cool. When cool enough to handle, squeeze it into a ball with your hands and extract the excess liquid. Transfer the spinach to a blender or food processor. Add 1 cup of milk and blend the mixture until completely smooth. Add the remaining ingredients except for the butter and blend at high speed until smooth. And then transfer the mixture to a bowl with a whisk and whisk in the butter and let it rest for about an hour. Okay? So the other thing it says remarks, it says spinach crepes freeze well and can be used in many dishes that call for basic crepes. So again, we've already made the batter for the regular crepes, which we're going to have like a sweet crepe, and then we have our savory crepe, which is going to be our spinach crepe that's going to be stuffed with mushrooms. Okay?